Fusion on the orange side. It's Galti, Alakost, Swift, and David duel. Over on Alpha Ducks, blue side, it's Stody, Little Rad, Infiltrate, and Martin the third. The launch is set, and here we go. So taken first, Alpha Ducks. Martin will play just back here. They have Stody sitting on the small island, eventually getting it to him. And off to a slower start than I'm used to, just purely based on that disc holding. Don't even see that a ton, especially to start off. Usually it's just breakneck pace. Now we'll see what these two teams do decide. I know some of these European teams especially, as Martin was mentioning in Twitch chat even the other day, just get very brawl heavy. Now this is going to be a deep shot attempt, looks like. Almost gets there. A stun from Alakost will in fact, oh, buy them not the goal. Looked guaranteed, but Stody had other things to say. Marvelous save to start off the day, staving away the defense. Now here will be some offense from Infiltrate and Co. And that is off Martin's head, it looks like. Shot by Lil Rad. Hits Martin's head, so Martin will get credit for the three-pointer. Just the same. 3 it is, so Alpha Ducks on the score sheet first. And Lil Rad getting the unintentional assist. Just lucky it didn't bounce out of the goal on that one. So, hey, Galti down low off the stack. It goes to David. David just dumping it off to Swift in the back, uncontested for the moment. See, David on bottom was contesting there, just bothering Martin, making sure he doesn't assault the QB. Now here's Alakost approaching goal on his own, looking for that pass. Very well done from the corner. Tight angle, but Swift found a way to get that one through on the two defenders.
12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So I was reminded here before the game to maybe try and get that mini-map up more often on those launches, because the game does hide the mini-map between jousts, like after the goal is scored, but I think because of the shorter VRML timings, it doesn't come back up for a little while. So I'm going to try and be conscious of bringing that mini-map up more often manually, so you can see kind of how teams are rolling out of the floor a little bit better, since I am focusing on the disc so much typically during those launches. Now off to the other side, Stody receives it for Alpha Ducks. They're ahead by 1 point. A pass gets over to Infiltrate, who does find Martin over by the small island. Now that little ricochet might still reach his target, just a bit later than intended, so it does force a turnover based off the defense, able to cut him off with the extra time they had. There's some stacks coming on through for all of Alpha Ducks, and just a lone player there, Swift, the swiftest for his team right now on Fusion to contest. But playing some more slow game now, it would seem. Infiltrate there. And off to mid, taken eventually by Little Red. There's some of the awkward interactions. Really got to find a way to fix that. Again, if you're seeing those hitches, especially with the arms and the clock, that's not the players. And oh, what a player, Stody. Another save. That's the second one here in the first 4 minutes of action. There was a clear as well. But yeah, again, if you're seeing those hitches, that's not the players. That's a spectator. That's me. Alakost also in the goal. He had plenty of time to line up that save there. Martin the third taking it over here resets to Stody. And you can see the players there, bottom of the floor, as well as on that Pac-Man, and diving now for Alpha Ducks, looking for some angles. And Stody just deciding maybe he didn't have a good enough one, so backs it up. And not a bad plan of attack here, because now they're going to get a much better shot opportunity. So great passing from Alpha Ducks. That's 5 points for them now. Little Rad, courtesy of a couple at least. One of them actually off Martin's head, so nonetheless, points it is. These goalkeepers doing some work already early on. Not even halfway through this first round, and we've already seen, I believe, what, 3-4 saves? So, not really surprised there, but always pleasant to see for them. Swift overtaking, going to the nest. Here's a good dive. The goalie is heavily bothered, but couldn't quite make the the connection, so Lil Rad will get a send-off into the other side now, as Swift tries to get it. Infiltrate hitting his head over there on the Geo. Hate it when that happens. It would happen to me a ton. I always felt like in Echo, my forehead in the game was a little bit lower than my forehead in real life, so I would find myself just by a narrow inch hitting my head on the Geo when I'm boosting through sometimes, quite often actually. But off some punches and some stuns, and here goes Lil Rad, the intercept in the midline. Lots of traffic as they get a cutting. A Stody, he's going to try and duck through, still gets punched anyways from the back fist. And now Infiltrate working this up the floor. Up top again to Lil Rad, and again he'll connect with a shot. So the plan of attack now for Alpha Ducks starting to become pretty clear. They're really favoring first the slow approach, but then finding off that slow approach, eventually getting it to Lil Rad up top and letting him try to do some work from there. So definitely a planned strategy, and it's paying off to the tune of 7 points so far for the Alpha Ducks. And there goes David duel now. So David of Fusion trying to hit Galti up top with a pass. Couldn't quite make it. Alikos recovering just briefly enough to send a pass over to Swift. Now Galti is going to be anchored there, gets a nice one, tries to dodge, unsuccessfully, almost got it around the barrier, but ultimately drops the disc off some brawls. Now there's Lil Rad trying to get maybe some more points. Martin the third also grabbing that disc as the defense unable to retreat actually into the goal, so just left wide open there. You had two players for Alpha Ducks in the goalpost, kind of guiding that disc in like an airliner or something, but yeah. So off to Fusion again on the offensive joust here. And they will take it. Alikos. Fusion trying to find themselves some points here. Uncontested up top, looking for maybe a bit of a slow rollout themselves, but unlike the Alpha Ducks, Fusion right now don't have the luxury of time on their side, so. Passing game always a safe option, a stable option, compared to sometimes the franticness you get with the clear and boost. However, because of the time, clear and boost might actually just benefit them more because they need to get some quick goals here. They're down by 8 on Fusion, and that turnover is not going to help the efforts. So Stody comes away with that disc off the pass, off the steal. Galti just dishing a punch just because he can. And on the other side, Lil Rad just missing the grab on that. So Alikos is able to get back into the goal. Now Alpha Ducks right back on offense. They don't need to rush this. If nothing else, stick to their whole game plan of playing it slow, and they can come away with this as it stands. Stody, though, getting stood still with a punch, and Fusion getting it back. So that's a deep pass to the opposite corner. And again, Fusion just working it up top there, but already 3 players for Alpha Ducks in the back line. So now Fusion losing the disc, right back to Alpha Ducks here, 1:47 left. Another reset to Stody playing the back, and that's going to be a deep shot, potentially going to go off the corner, and absolutely in for Stody. What a shot that was. It's honestly really difficult for me to even say anymore when those shots go off, whether I can call it a clear or a shot, because so many people are very aware of using these corner panels these days that, yeah, it's hard to tell. Sometimes it goes in just purely based on luck. Sometimes it is kind of a mix of luck and skill. You know, players purposely aiming for those corner panels now off of those deep clears to give them a good chance at maybe scoring the disc. So when that does happen, you just got to give them their props either way. Mix of luck, mix of skill, whatever it was, gets them some points. 3 of them, in fact. And now looking for 3 more, maybe 2 more. Alpha Ducks, less than a minute left. And off to Infiltrate. The duck through move. And a good bother on the goalie there. Alikos being stunned out about the same time as that shot was about to go through. And it bought them one more score, 15-2. Favoring Alpha Ducks in the first round.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So a rollout here. Quick hello again to the chat. See Cruising in there as well as Ninja Knight. Zenny dude, and now a shot. Feeling the Zen and feeling that mood. Martin the third gets another for Alpha Ducks, 17-2. So that will, in fact, conclude this first round, favoring Alpha Ducks in pretty strong fashion here. Their passing game, their stall game on point, really being patient with a lot of that offense. Finding Lil Rad, the beneficiary of a bunch of passes from his teammate that result in these assisted goals from a lot of the times the top, the ceiling there, one of the spots he favors, and they're going to that with quite a bit of success. You can see right there, I mean, 4 points for Lil Rad. It's actually Martin the third leading the way. Again, one of Lil Rad's shots was a three-pointer that actually went off Martin's head, so Martin did get credit for that. But all the same, I mean, Lil Rad getting a couple goals there, 3 assists for him. The 18 stuns. Stody with 3 points. Infiltrate with 2 points. Martin with the 8 and the 18 stuns. So 3 double-digit stun counts already in one round for Alpha Ducks. Meanwhile, on Fusion, the 2 points there solely for Swiftly. Called him Swiftly again. I always do that on accident. I don't really know why. Did that in preseason a lot, then I fixed it, and now I just did it again on accident. But Swift, 2 points and a save. Alakos an assist and 3 saves. Meanwhile, David he dueling with 18 stuns, leading his team, and then 11 stuns for Galti. Round 2 about to be underway. Allow me to get a quick drink here.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
And good to go. All right.
round has begun.
So off quickly on this joust, Alpha Ducks. See how they play this second round, if they're going to be just as patient on the passing. And, yeah, what offensive plays they do decide to go to. If they're going to go for Lil Rad some more, bothering the goalie some more. We'll see. Crew's in the chat there saying that Fusion needs to get the passes on lock. And yeah, they tried playing it patient there. It's a nice patient play. Gets infiltrated goal here for Alpha Ducks. I know towards the latter half of that round, Fusion was definitely trying some slower rollouts himself, getting those passes. But time not on their side, and then Alpha Ducks, you could see a lot of the turnovers, I think, caused off the brawls. You had those 3 players for Alpha Ducks with nearly 20 stuns in the first round, so that will make it as hard as anything, because a lot of these passes, and especially once they're getting closer to the bubble for Fusion, Alpha Ducks are just cutting them off with stuns and making it quite difficult. Now here is Fusion looking for those passing plays, looking for the right ones, but there you go on the execution, a little bit too much strength on the pass, so that one will be more of an unforced turnover for Fusion. Trying to cause another one, though. Some good pressure on the way, so Alakos gets that job done, finds himself an open goal, but just dings off that corner. His teammates trying to play the back and still recollect it for them, but Galti gets it stolen, intercepted by Martin, it looked like it was. Now off it goes on the joust, or on the stack rather, and that will buy them a second open 3. Rather a first, my bad, but first open 3 of this second round, and Stody will be the beneficiary of that. So tough for Fusion, because yeah, that could have been a beautiful open 3 there to just make it that actually give him the lead, but instead, you have a turnaround, and suddenly you're down 5 points instead of being up by 1, and that always hurts a little bit. Right now, though, Alakos just taking a bounce off, and wow, he even gets the 3 off of that. So speaking of, they do get it eventually. Alakos that time from much deeper into the Alpha Duck zone. So there you go, 2-point game now off that Alakos goal. That was a very quick shot. There were some defenders lurking, but not quite positioned to get that disc. They were just kind of turning around, so caught them just off guard enough to squeeze that one in. So again, some heavy defense being played out, and that's going to translate to another turnover. Alakos again with the hands, able to collect that. And now on the shot attempt, Swift gets it snatched by Stody right as he was about to shoot it. Now Stody will shoot that, and almost center. That just barely grazed the side of the barrier. So good looking accuracy, but just barely off on that one. Looked good from my end at first. But here comes another turnover Realizing the minimap wasn't up. Over here goes to Lil Rad now. And Lil Rad to the bottom of the ramp. So Little Rad is uncontested and remains that way for a while. There's apparently a lot of brawls going on the other end. So Little Rad here along with Martin. Martin's going for the goalie. They're going for the 3. They get the 3. Risky slightly, but good coordinated effort to make it an 8-point-3 lead here over Fusion. 6:20 remaining. Cruisin noting too that, 19 meter per second throw, so getting full strength on that one. Definitely helps your chances a lot to score those ones if you can manage those 19s. Not something that I could ever do, admittedly. I was always more about the slow and steady, slow but accurate shots. Of course, less helpful on the front line. But and even today in today's game, probably not even as helpful on the back line because teams are so quick with getting back on defense that if you throw it too slowly from the midfield on those shot attempts, there's a fair chance that teams will just get back and save it anyway. So, yeah, faster you can throw it with the more accuracy, the better, obviously. So Martin takes it back here for Alpha Ducks. He has Stody right on his back, ready for a potential boost, but they're not in any rush until the defenders come at them. Now, barely dodging them over there, and a soft pass reaches Stody nicely. This is some nice-looking rollouts here for Alpha Ducks. That last pass a little off, but Martin will get it back. And David Duel, though, on the punches over at Bowtie, collects it nicely for his team. But however, Alpha Ducks still will get it back. Now see, we're getting more of that camera and arm jank right now. Seems like it's increasing over the days, honestly. It's a little bit concerning. But anyway, Alpha Ducks going in off the backboard here. Galti unable to get it. Sails past his hands, but on the second attempt, will tap it back out. Martin the intercept. Martin gets it stolen. So Swift the dump into the back line. And now looking for a boost. It's Martin as well as Stody. They'll get there first for Alpha. Up by 5 points and less than 5 minutes left. So if Alpha Ducks can just hold on to this lead, they'll be closing it out with a 2-0 on this series. Still very much within reach for Fusion. Just got to find a little bit more execution on those passes. Now that one will hurt very much. Lil Rad with the magic touch. Back line, 11-3 now. As we reach this final 4 minutes of round 2.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're underway.
So, sorry, quick rollout on the Alpha Ducks side on defense there, but still getting it through his Fusion. David taking that, getting it taken away, though, by Infiltrate, not letting anyone infiltrate his side of the floor. And look at that, too. Even gets the quick leech, so we have 3 players all stacked up for Alpha Ducks, and now they're rolling. So that was a good grab for Infiltrate. And not only that, but then he gets the toe of one of his teammates and toes himself all the way to the other side of the floor. Gets the score on top of it. So Infiltrate end-to-end right there. Rollout here from Fusion. Cannot connect with a pass to anyone that was heavily bothered. So again, you see the stacks and then the brawls from Alpha Ducks just causing some passes to not be as accurate or timed as well as they would like. That shot gonna go right through for Lil Rad, squeezing it by as the defense flew in.
12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Not Zucks in the chat, also telling Cruisin to get out of the chat. But why? Dost thou deny me my Twitch chat company, Zucks? You are a villain, and not making that one, spilling out of the goal as Stody takes it over and floats downwards into the bottom. 2:15 left, 15 points for Alpha Ducks, 3 for Fusion. Alpha feeling good here, maybe looking to score again. Could not do it quite there. So over on the other side, Fusion here, just needing to find, you can see them kind of just floating. They're all near each other, 3 players for Fusion, but none of them really going for the boost. So as a result, Alpha Ducks had plenty of time to collect it there. That said, an intercept will go through here, and Galti receiving that one. Now that's a good pass over to Swift, who gets it in his stride. Attacking the goal, looks like Swift coming through. He has an anchor pass, but opts for the shot and does make it on that one. Off the goalie diving. So they do buy themselves a goal. That said, on that one too, I mean, having that open anchored pass up here in barrier or nest area, much higher percentage shot if the pass was made. But, of course, points are points, just the same. But just kind of random note from Coachador, I suppose. But here goes for Galti getting the clear off. And now Swift and Alikos trying to maybe get back, but just being brawled at. So back down it goes. Lil Rad looking for a good pass to Martin III. Martin going back up top to Lil Rad. Lil Rad getting stunned. So good dive there. David just sticking with Lil Rad, not letting him get comfortable up there. 15-5. So this game a bit out of hands for Fusion to come back and force a third round. See if they can cause one more turnover, though, as Alpha Ducks just attempts to bring it back out here and maybe spend the rest of the clock and take the last shot of the game if they can. So up high, Lil Rad gets that, goes on in, and it will be one more score at least for Alpha. 17-5 at the end of this second round.
11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That will be the two-round victory for Alpha Ducks here against Fusion, 17-5 in this round. First round was actually 17-2, so Alpha Ducks just meeting the same efficiency in both rounds scoring-wise. Fusion able to score an additional time in this round. But again, just couldn't buy them the victory. So for Alpha Ducks, they'll gladly take this one away. It's Lil Rad kind of keeping up the fire that he started with in the first round with the 14 points and 3 assists. 8 points for Martin, 6 for Infiltrate, 6 for Stody. Lots of assists on the board for all these players, though. And there we get the rematch, so match stats are now reset, unfortunately. Just a result of, again, the rules set by default. Still on play all three, so teams often resetting after those second rounds. So they can get back and talk and things like that. So understandable, hopefully. The default settings get adjusted there at some point, or teams remember to set it to best of 3 in the match terminal. Either way, though, it's all good. So, yeah, pretty much as far as any critiques on that match, Alpha Ducks just played that one a bit slower than I'm used to seeing typically sometimes on these matches, and it really did pay dividends for them. They had some nice rollouts that just, you saw when they didn't have the shot opportunity they wanted, they just backed it out. You know, they reset it to someone in the back line. Oftentimes it was Martin or Stody. And then they'd move it back up forward and hit one of their offensive players who are positioned nicely from one of these anchored positions, you know, on either over here on barrier or on the corner, up top especially, Lil Rad I mentioned. But they were always looking for their high percentage opportunities, just someone who was anchored over there in a good place. And then on the defensive end, they would go back and just pressure Fusion an awful lot on their joust, and Fusion unable to get some of those passes through. Their boost not quite gathering fast enough, not looking for them the same way that Alpha Ducks were. So really just let Alpha Ducks kind of outspeed them, outmaneuver at times on that regard. And you did see, starting towards the latter half of that first round and going into the second, Fusion definitely started looking for the passes more and just trying to play it a bit slow at points. But again, it was more so that time wasn't on their side, and the defense from Alpha Ducks was just pressuring them and forcing some of these passes not to be quite as accurate as they would have liked. So stuff for them to certainly look at over there when they review the videos later. But for Alpha Ducks, quite proud of their performance, I'm sure. So yes, good game on the behalf of these two teams. Congrats to Alpha Ducks for their victory here.